Alright, so we're going to get started on our HTML for the project, and in the file structure we just have our index, our script, our style sheet, and then I have an image folder with this money PNG, which you can get in the resources of this section or you can get in the GitHub repository. So let's go ahead and generate a boilerplate here, and for the title we'll say exchange rate calculator, and we're going to link our style sheet, and then let's link our script. So source is going to be script.js. Okay, so we're going to have the image at the top, and I'm going to give this image a class of money-img, and for the source it's going to be img/money.png. And then let's have an h1, and we'll say exchange rate calculator, and we're just going to put some instructions here. So choose the currency and the amounts to get the exchange rate, and then underneath that we're going to have a class of container, and inside here we're going to have a class of currency. Now, inside this currency class, we want our select list and we want our input. So let's do a select, and this select is going to have an ID of currency-1, because remember we're going to have two selects, because we need one that we're actually the country we're choosing, and then the country that we want to get the currency for. So in this select we're going to have just a whole bunch of options. So I'm actually going to I'm going to grab those and paste those in, and you can grab them from the repository if you'd like. So it's just a bunch of options with country codes here, and I have the US USD selected by default. Of course, you can change it to a different country if you want. So right under the select, we're going to have an input, and this input is going to be a number. So it's going to have the type of number, and we don't need a name. The ID is going to be amount-1, because remember we're going to have two amount inputs. The default placeholder will be 0, but I'm going to put an initial value of 1, so it'll just be $1 by default. Okay, and now we're going to have another currency class with pretty much the same stuff in it. So I'm going to grab this div, this currency div, everything in it as well. So that ends right here, right before the container ends. And then we're going to go down here and paste this in, and this is going to be currency2. And then, of course, we don't want USD selected because this is the country that we want to get the exchange rate for, or the currency for. Whoops, there we go. So I'm going to choose, feel free to choose what you want. I'm going to choose euros. So right here, let's do selected. Okay, and then here where we have the amount, this is going to be amount 2. We're going to grab on to that in the JavaScript, and we don't want an initial value here because it's going to get generated in the JavaScript. And then right in between the two currency classes, so right here, we're going to have a class of swap rate container, and this is going to hold a button to swap the rates. So let's say button, we'll give it a class of btn, and let's give it an ID of rate, and we'll just say swap. And then underneath that we're going to have the rate. So I don't know why this keeps giving me two cursors when I don't want it. So right here we're going to have a class of rate and an ID of rate to grab onto it in the JavaScript. And there's nothing's going to go in here that's going to be generated dynamically. So that should be it for the HTML. Let's save that, and we're going to go ahead and open this with Live Server. And that's what it should look like. Okay, so it doesn't look too great. So in the next video, we're going to just style this real quick with some CSS.